So we are continuing on factoring. Notice on, which I will post, on the right-hand side, there are your basic factoring rules. And so what's the difference between these problems and the ones we've done last week? So, did the ones last week have a coefficient in front of the first number? No, that's the difference. But as far as the steps, and as far as what multiplies to give you this and adds together to give you this, it's basically gonna be the same thing. So, I have watched multiple YouTube videos, and I've done this several ways. So, I've already posted one video. I'm gonna post this one. This will be my third video to post. The other video that's not me is a lady. She does factoring by grouping. So if you want to see a different method, feel free to watch that. For me, it hurt my head. So this is what you do. Y'all ready? Okay. So you're going to take 10 times 7. What's 10 times 7?
70.
70. Okay. So 70. So your question is, now you're back to what we did last week. What multiplies to give you 70, and because this is plus, adds together to give you negative 37?
What was the question?
What multiplies to give you 70 and adds together to give you negative 37? So, go ahead.
35 and 2.
35 and 2, perfect. And what kind of 35 and 2?
Negative.
Negative. They both have to be negative. And for those who struggle with their multiplication, or if you just can't think of it, or some of the numbers are pretty large, you take the number and divide by x, disregarding the fact that it's negative, and look at your table and you can see all your factors. So our next step is to take the number that you multiply, the coefficient, the a, the number in front of x squared or m squared, and you're going to divide. And then reduce. So if you need your calculator to do that for you, you do alpha x and it'll give you your fraction, or alpha y equals if you have an older calculator like mine, and it'll give you a fraction. Otherwise, what goes into 35 and 10? 5. And this reduces to negative 7 over 5.
2.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. And then 2 goes in there. And this is going to be negative 1 over what?
2.
5. Okay. So your factors, you take this is your numerator and your denominator's on the bottom. You take your denominator and you're going to throw it out front. So 2m minus 7, and take the 5, throw it out front, 5m minus 1. And a quick check to make sure that you've got it correct is 2m times 5m, is that 10m squared?
Yes. Yeah.
Is negative 7 times negative 1 positive 7?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, so you have a pretty good chance that it's correct. To know for sure if it's correct, you put this in y1, this in y2, and your tables should match. If they don't, you've done a simple mistake. But a quick check is just to multiply. That does not get your middle term. Okay, let's do it again. 8 times 21, what do you get?
168.
168. Okay, so when it's positive, again, the signs are going to be the same. You're going to add. So what multiplies to give you 168 and adds together to give you 26? And those of you who can see the video can still see the problem. Are we good? Great. Okay, so what are the factors of 168? So 168 divided by x. Sorry, go ahead.
14 and 12.
Yeah. So again, you can see all the factors using your calculator, which is fine, because some of us don't. I don't know all my multiples of 12. So, but 12 plus 14 give you 26, and 12 times 14 is 168. And then what's my next step?
Divide it by
Divide by 8, whatever the coefficient is. Okay, and again, if you need your calculator to reduce for you, or if you want to check your reduction, you do alpha x. And so what can go in both numbers? 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 14 is 2 and 7, so we can only take a 2 out. And of course, if you reduce and it can be reduced again, reduce again. So 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So the denominator goes out front, so 2w plus 3, and 4w plus 7. Is this the only way to factor? No. Algebra 2, they'll teach you a lot of different ways. This is the easiest of all the ways that I have found. You're more than welcome to look on YouTube and look at other ways. My first year of teaching, I did guess and check, because that's the way I was taught. And to check, you have to multiply it out. So multiply it out using the box method or the full method. But this way is the easiest. So, what's our first step? And what's the difference between 3 and 4 and 1 and 2? Something is negative. What's negative? A, B, or C?
C.
C. So when C is negative, then you're looking for two numbers that subtract to equal B. The larger number has to have the same sign as B, and that's from our notes from last week. So if you don't have that, don't know where it is, it's on the right here, so get where you can see it and write that down. And I didn't abbreviate my words as much. So 4 times negative 9 give you negative 36. Now, if you are using your calculator to find your factors, don't include the negative. Just gets a little bit confusing. Okay? Just do y equals 36 divided by x. So, but this one's fairly easy. What multiplies to give you 36 and subtracts to give you 35?
36
1 and what?
6.
36. Okay. Which one has to be negative to when you, the 36, the larger number? And then we divide by what?
4.
4. Why 4?
Because it's 8.
That's what's in front. Very good. And so is 1/4 reducible?
No.
No. So the 4 is going to come out front. So 4x plus 1. So if I already have a 4x, my next term has to be x. That means 36 is divisible by 4. And what do you get? What is 36 divided by 4?
Negative 8.
8.
Close. 9.
9.
9 negative.
Negative 9.
Hooray.
Okay? Let me give you a minute, do number 4. And then we're done.
This is very simple.
I like it. I think it's fun. So, while you are working that, our future after this, what's next, is there's going to be something we're going to be able to pull out first. So all of these, there's not something you have to pull out. So that means that, for instance, all the terms are divisible by 2. So you'd have to take the 2 out first. Okay, so 4 and negative 40 give you negative 160. So again, if you were putting in the calculator, because obviously 10 plus 16 is not 27. That you looking for a number that's going to subtract to give you 27. So if you don't know it, go to y equals and do positive 160 divided by x, and that'll give you all your factors. And then all you gotta do is subtract. So 40 minus 4 is not it. What's the next one? After 4 is 5 and 32. And 32 minus 5 equals 27. So, make one of them has to be negative. Which one?
32.
It's 5 because we have a positive 27. So your larger number has to be positive. And then we're going to divide by 4. And 32 divided by 4 is
8.
8. So you're going to have n plus 8. And what's the other one?
4x minus 5.
4n
4x.
minus 5. Make sure to use the variables that they give you. So again, you can put this in y1, this in y2, and the table should match. Another thing that you could do, of course, a quick check is to multiply these two and these two, make sure you get that. But would that help you if you had those signs opposite? No. So, putting both of them would help you. And also, if you put in in y1, put the quadratic equation, graph it, and if you put one of the factors, then here's your x-axis. Just a reminder, the factors have to go through the intersection of the x-axis. So if your line is way up here and doesn't go through the x-intercept of the quadratic, then it is not correct. So testing wise, most of the time if you have these on tests, they typically don't give you both of them. They'll give you one of the two. So you can always divide. I love dividing, but graph it. That's how you check it. If you don't know how to check your answer, please ask. Because on your CBA, there's no reason to miss them. Because most of the time you can check them in the calculator. Thank you.